Yo, what's good? It's your boy Big Steve, and tonight's another episode of Go Blue Uncut, where we're gonna be talking about National Signing Day, who were some surprises, who I think gonna be a major star. You know what I'm saying? And the transfer portal, and number one in the transfer portal, top 20 in recruiting class. Let's get into it, man. So as you know, basically, we just finished up the early signing period. And as of right now, Michigan is ranked, I believe, 17, as far as the rankings go for recruitment, number one for transfer portal. If you grew up playing college football on video games, you know that recruiting was the best part of the game. We literally just played that game just to go to the schools we wanted to go to. The whole recruitment process as a high school kid and all this, and seeing when you rank. And so it's pretty dope, man, to see these kids taking that next step in life, committing to school. And if you're a fan like I am, most of these kids you've been watching since freshman year of high school. That's normally where they get on offer sometimes sophomore year. Like I said, I remember JJ, when he first committed his sophomore year, he never knew how much he was going to change my life 4 years later. But it's dope, man. So just to start off with some surprises, most of these guys been committed for a while. But just start off with some surprises. We had a receiver. Let me check. A lot of these recruits, for some reason, a lot of these recruits got names I cannot pronounce. It's like weird reasons. Like, for some reason, people don't name their kids normal names no more. It's all kind of weird stuff. But Carmelo English, a receiver, 5'11", 175, 4-star out of Alabama. Had Alabama. He had a couple other big schools offered him. And he was one of the guys I didn't really know too much about, as far as the recruiting thing go, because I didn't think he was going to come. But he's kind of a speedster receiver. And it's kind of cool because the way things were looking, receivers was one of the positions we felt like we was going to start losing because we such a running team. But so it's kind of cool to get a top 20 receiver in the nation, all the way from Alabama to come up to Michigan. So that's pretty dope right there. He was like one of my biggest surprises. But another guy I was kind of surprised on was Hill, the corner out of Illinois, Jerari Hill. He's an athlete, played running back, but a receiver. But I guess he's going to play corner at the next level. And he's a number 2 player out of Illinois, and he's the top 25 player in his position. And I think that was a big get. Like I said, I think he was leaning towards Illinois for the longest. And nowadays, when somebody's been committed to your school, it really don't matter until they sign, because there's so many different rules these days. Kids can just flip from one commitment to another. And we saw that happen with Deontay Moore going to UCLA over Oregon. So I was kind of surprised with that one. But other than that, we had a very solid recruiting class. Somebody I think to look out for, I really want to see this guy. I'm going to try to say his name, man. So if I can't pronounce it, bear with me. If you watch college football, you can go on the rankings, 24/7 rankings, where I normally go to. Merrick Kumba. He's a edge, 6'4", 230 from France. He's the number 1 player from France. So I'm assuming he's not going to get too many looks, far as camps, everything like so. Just to be ranked as a football player from France got to be dope itself. And he seemed like a big body, like I say, 6'4", 230. You could put on 15, 20 pounds of muscles into a frame like that. I think he's a sleeper. And being that we kind of had success with a couple, with a job boy and a couple other players from overseas backgrounds, Quiddy Pay, it kind of building that relationship of overseas and them feeling comfortable to come play at Michigan. So him and Brook Burr, I'm really excited to see Brook Burr. He's a D lineman. I actually got a chance to see one of his high school games. They got him only listed as a 3-star, but 6'6", 270, out of the state of Illinois, top 70 player at his position. He kind of got a young body, still got a lot of growing to get into that. Like I said, he's 6'6", 270. And I love seeing big D linemen. I feel like if you can get the quarterback, offensive, defensive line, it's skill players everywhere. I think everybody has skill players, but if you can get that offensive D-line, offensive and defensive line, you got a chance to, make some noise. Now the player that I'm actually looking exciting to see play, he's my sleeper, but I think he's going to be a good player. The linebacker out of Pennsylvania. Let me see, can I find him? Once again, for some reason, everybody have weird-ass names now. Samaje Bridgman. Linebacker, 6'2", 230. He's a top 10 player out of Pennsylvania, which is sleepy becoming a football, that Baltimore, DMV area, East Coast areas, and, Blake Horn being from that area, Brandon Moore, the freshman DNs from that area. We kind of, that area is becoming a good ground for football talent. And so, Samaje Bridgman from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. 4-star, top 25 linebacker in the nation. And I love it. I love seeing these big bodies that hopefully got a little speed to it. But and so overall, I think we did a good job. Like I said, getting the receiver from Alabama, and Alabama's, even though they got plenty of 5-stars, so it wasn't like we took their best target, but being that we got somebody that's, got a little size, 5'11", aggressive type, I think he probably could be used the same way as my man, the slot receiver, the punt returner, but I'll get his name sooner or later. But Amira Herring, the offensive line from West Bloomingville, the same place I believe Donovan Edwards from. Once again, he's a top 15 lineman in the nation. Number 4 in the state of Michigan, so that's dope. Like I say, for the longest, like before Jim Harbaugh got to Michigan, it seemed like even the best talent in the state of Michigan was going other places. So it's dope to see us, the best talent in the state stays in Michigan. So I'm pretty excited for Amir. I believe he played mostly guard, 6'3", 300 pounds, man, as a true freshman. That's going to be dope. Being that we have the line of the year 2 years in a row, I think a lot of offensive linemen go want to come and play at Michigan. So Evan Link, I know he's he's also a top 25 lineman, offensive tackle. Top 3 in the state of Washington. We've been recruiting him for a while. I didn't think he was going to come either. I think it was between us and Washington for the longest. And I remember hearing about him last year, but after a certain time, him not committing, I figured he wasn't going to come. But it's kind of dope, man, to see that right there. Like I said, two big linemen, two top 25 linemen. You get that, trust me, the athlete's going to come. Cole Cabanon, top 10 running back, number 2 in the state of Michigan. Like I say, getting the best players in Michigan and staying in Michigan is dope. But Cole Cabanon is a very interesting prospect. And if you heard some squeak, that's my chair. Cole Cabanon is a very interesting prospect. Running back. He's a white kid. He can run. We didn't have too much luck with the last white running back we got. I'm pretty sure some of y'all remember Sam McGuffey, the YouTube sensation. The running back was flipping over people, But I'm interested to see him prove himself on that field, man. I saw some of his high school tape. Dude's 6 feet, 180. He's moving. He can run. And with the offensive line we've been getting, that's dope, man. Hopefully he can come in. I don't know CJ Stokes' situation. We don't know Blake Corum's situation, as far as next year goes. But him coming in, and if he can, get a couple carries the same way as Donovan Edwards, his freshman year, that'd be dope, man. We can build off of that going into once Donovan Edwards and Blake Corum is gone. Eno Etta, once again, weird name. Eno Etta, he's another defensive lineman. I think he's been committed to Michigan for a while. 6'4", 6'5", 260 pounds. Out of the state of, I believe, Texas. That's really dope. Top 20 player in the state of Texas, top 15 player in his position. That's a big pickup. And I like what Harbaugh does. As we saw from Texas A&M, just getting a bunch of 5 stars and throwing them out on the field is not going to work. And, I think Harbaugh is really using his NFL experience to turn into somewhat of a free agency thing to get the pieces he needs, instead of just saying, well, we got to get him because he's a 5-star. It's like, no, Alabama, like I say, Alabama has probably yet to win a championship with a 5-star quarterback. Their most best teams wasn't, all just 5 stars. Yeah, help to have 5 stars, definitely. But you can't just say, oh, we got to get all 5 stars. And then, because with NIL and all that thing these days, you have to have a professional coach who's been around players who got paid professionally to understand. Like I said, you looking at college, Nick Saban wasn't successful in the NFL. There's a couple other coaches who's back in college right now who tried in the NFL and didn't work. I think Jim Harbaugh is the only coach you can say was successful in college and in the NFL. And both as a player as well. So I think he knows how to handle, because now these guys are professional athletes. Once you start making millions of dollars, you're no longer an amateur anymore. These dudes are professional athletes now. And so I'm pretty excited about it. And then he did, like I said, especially he put his GM hat on and went to work in the transfer portal. That's where I was excited. I'm like, yo, like, the pieces he brought, it's because one thing I feel about Harbaugh, he's very good at getting people just to play their role. Like, hey, man, you probably ain't going to play every snap. You probably be a starter. You probably don't. Like I said, because you had Trente Jones got hurt, came back, but they still kept Barnhart as the starter. they both played at same times before when you run that 6-7 offensive line scheme. So, and with him having NFL ties, it's like you don't have to go somewhere and just worry about so much playing time to get to the next level. If you come and play, you're going to have a shot at the next level. So, going to the transfer, like I say, we had the number one ranked transfer. I think the difference between having the number one ranked transfer and having the number one ranked recruiting is these dudes are already established grown men. These dudes are veterans, 2, 3, and 4 year veterans, sometimes 5 years. So, AJ Barner, tight end, from Indiana. They got him listed as a 4-star now. It's weird because in high school he was a 3-star. Now he's a 4-star tight end. Being that we had Eric All-Leave, and then on top of that, Schoonemaker probably gone. I think he probably got one more year eligibility, but he's been there 6 years, so he's probably gone. That's a dope pickup for AJ Barner. I didn't see too much of him, but it don't hurt to have depth. Jack Toto. I think I remember this cat when he came out of high school. Committed to Utah, transferred to Indiana. Backup, he's a quarterback, so that's dope to give us depth. And then things get kind of interesting. We got Drake Nugent. I believe he's the center from Stanford. Got him as a 3-star, 6'2", 275. Then it gets very interesting. These two next players, Josiah Stewart, played at Coastal Carolina, edge rusher, 25 total sacks in 2 years. I think his freshman year he had like 12 sacks as a freshman. Coming from Coastal Carolina, smaller school, it's kind of made for people his size to flourish in that. And I think picking Michigan somewhere where he don't got to come in and be an every down edge rusher. He can be that Okie. Uche did it and went, having a good career with the Patriots right now. So, like I say, Harbaugh's one of them guys where you don't got to come and trying to play every down to have a chance to go into the league. So, Josiah Stewart, great pickup. Miles Hinton. If the name sounds familiar, he's a younger brother of Chris Hinton. And being that Chris Hinton kind of left early, didn't get drafted, I didn't know if there would be bad blood between him and Michigan, but getting his brother to come to Michigan speaks value. And that's dope. Can play some guard, can play some tackle. 6'6", 308, 4-star in high school, 4-star in college. Big. That's dope. Ernest Husman, weird name. Ernest Husman, linebacker from Nebraska. Started mostly every game as a true freshman. And he's actually the number one player. He was the number one player in the transfer portal. So that's kind of dope. Middle linebacker. Being that Mike Barrett probably gone, we don't know the status of Green going into next year. So to have a proven linebacker with Julian Colston, dope. That was the major great pickup right there. And then Ladarius Henderson, believe a 4-year starter at Arizona State. And so at first, I didn't know what to think of the transfer portal because it kind of bit us in the ass with the whole Shea Patterson situation, But being that I think Harbaugh was like one of the pioneers as a coach, really pushing for players to have the freedom to be able to leave school. So it's benefiting. Like him having that connection with players is benefiting, even though Michigan doesn't have a great NIL situation in place, the relationship he's showing that I can get you to the next level. You know, you look, ain't too many schools can say, well, the third string linebacker. Josh Uche was a third string linebacker damn near. I think he was at Michigan like 3 or 4 years and never started a whole season. Um, so yes, you know, Quiddy Pay went from third string to starter. 1 year went first round. So he's definitely putting himself out there. Harbaugh as somebody who can be a GM type head coach in this professional. I think he probably likes it that better that way. That way it's not so you gotta worry about this rule. Now he can say I'm dealing with grown athletes. So yes, man, it was a pretty exciting day, man. It's been a pretty exciting, you know, transfers. It's dope. I'm loving the size we got on this offensive defensive line for the next year or two to come. Oh man, Mason Graham, Chris Jenkins, Brandon Moore, Braden McGregor, if he come back. You know, he got the Michigan tag on the arm, so I think he's from Michigan. I think he's coming back. Man, then you add the cat from Coastal Carolina. You add a linebacker like Hoosman. You get some good corners. It's dope. It's dope, man. Will Johnson, Rob Moore. I think Page probably come back next year. It's going to be dope to see. I believe, you know, until we get punched in the mouth probably, I believe we on the cusp of building something special here. Like I said, when you able to get grown men at the offensive defensive line, that's such a huge advantage. You know what I'm saying? Like right now, you can have a top 10 recruiting class, you know what I'm saying? But it's very rare you find an 18-year-old kid that's just gonna be far as offensive defensive line goes. You got some that just a freak. Mason Graham, I believe, is legitimately a star in the making of defensive line. Like he's gonna be a first round pick if he continue to go the way he's going. You know that dude is a monster. You know I think Mozzie Smith is the big dog right now, but Mason Graham is a beast. So, and then you got, you know, I'm not sure who's coming back next year for the offensive line. I know our center, he don't got no more eligibility. Ryan Hayes still got a year left. He's a fifth-year senior. Higdon has a year left. I think he's a fifth-year senior right now, or a fourth year. But the main piece, Zach Zitner, right guard. That dude's a monster, man. If he can come back, you know, I think Barnhart and Trente Jones, if they come back, I think they both transfer. You know, I think they both transfer. If not, man, with that offense, and then if Blake Core come back next year with, man, back to back. So there you have it, man. Like I say, I'm pretty excited. I feel like I could talk about recruiting all night, man, because this is something like I say for the last, especially I say since Harbaugh got to it, but ever since probably Jabril Peppers, you know, 2000, I think 12, 13, I really got excited and got into recruiting. So it's dope to see a lot of these players come, and especially the ones that stay. You know, I remember Mike Barrett came, and he's been there 5 years now. So I remember he was in high school. That's 6 years ago. And he was a quarterback. You know, and him supposed to take over for Jabril. To me, Jabril was the best thing since I didn't get a chance to see Charles Wilson to play in college at Michigan. So to me, Jabril Peppers was the best thing ever. And for Mike Barry to be the guy who supposed to replace him, and didn't say I ain't gonna say he didn't live up to those expectations. Cause like I said, you replacing Jabril Peppers. The dude was up for Heisman. So, but to finish the way he did is a testament to Harbaugh's. You know, you play and you play hard, you're gonna have a spot on this team. You're gonna have a spot on this team. He don't care if you're a top 5 recruit or whatever. That's one thing about Harbaugh. He's been in that locker room at Michigan. He's been in that locker room as a first round pick for the Bears after they won the Super Bowl. Then to have a career where he's a starting quarterback for the Colts before Peyton Manning's get there. His name is in that Raptors for the Colts. And then to go to, I believe it was San Diego, some stuff like that, and then go to Stanford, 49ers. The dude is a proven winner. And so it's going to be interesting to see us how Michigan does for the next year or so. You know, I think Harbaugh said he's going to coach next year. And depending on how this season go, all we can do is probably wish him well. Because if the Colts don't get him this year, they're going to get him next year. It's only so long with the amount of money they paying coaches. And Harbaugh is still kind of young. I wish he will be at Michigan forever. But if he can win a championship this year and possibly win one next year or compete for one next year, I'm thinking he'd probably leave. Like you say, he don't want to get buried, fired there when, just like with things these days in college, you have coaches winning championships and then be on the high seat the next year. So it's pretty dope, man. I say those are my players I'm looking forward to seeing. It's pretty exciting. We got some running backs. We got offensive linemen, defensive linemen, some big boys. I believe, as far as last year goes, we had a lot of DBs. You know what I'm saying? So hopefully some of those DBs stay and willing to develop. Because I think that's what Harbaugh is looking at now. Like, he just focusing on, all right, let's make sure we dominate the transfer portal with offensive, defensive linemen, and then develop skill players around. You get your quarterback, skill players are going to come. So right now, I think as of right now, Michigan is set for at least another year or two as far as the players they have on their roster right now. What we need to focus on now is seeing who's going to be that quarterback after JJ. Who's going to be that quarterback? Even, bar nothing go wrong, it is football. JJ goes down this year. Who's going to be that quarterback that we say, man, this kid, everybody's excited to see, he's from such, and they just been waiting on him to touch the field. So I'm pretty interested. Oh, one more thing. I want to see what my man Hill little brother do. Let me see. I can see him right quick. What's my man name? Not Hill, Bell. Rodney Bell little brother. Kendrick Bell. They got him listed as an athlete. It showed he played quarterback in high school. 6'3", 180, kind of the same built as JJ when he first came in. So if he can come in next year, put a little weight on, it'll be dope, man. Why not give him a chance? I say we still got Alex Orji. He got some playing time this year, so hopefully he can build on that. And the California kid, I think Donovan Warren, the kid who beat cancer, he's another interesting one. far as quarterback goes. I really liked him in the spring game. A couple plays he made, I think against probably Colorado State, Hawaii. He threw for a touchdown, got a nice touch. So yeah, man, it's dope. National Signing Day 2022 is about wrapped up. We still got the other signing period, February 2nd, I believe, 1st to 2nd. So who knows? Maybe we can sneak in another receiver, running back. Like I say, Cobannon, maybe he's the kid that he can prove me wrong. I ain't saying that he can't be. I'm just saying that he's gonna have the opportunity to. There's gonna be a lot of spotlight on him. Being from Michigan, you gotta think. He's probably ranked higher as Donovan Edwards. Donovan Edwards number 4 back. I think he's the number 6 back. So maybe not. But when you that high of a back, you know, uh, top 10 running back in the nation, that's a lot of pressure. And we've been doing good. From Zach Charbonnet to Blake Corum to Donovan Edwards, CJ Stokes, still got a chance. Still got a chance. I think this can be his opportunity. A lot of pressure is gonna be on Donovan Edwards. He gonna get a lot of carries, so he's gonna be tired probably. And it's a chance for CJ Stokes to be that guy, kind of like the backup from the Dallas Cowboys. That he could be that game changer, man. You give him 5 carries, and hopefully he take 1 or 2 of those for a big run. So, once again, National Signing Day is basically in the books. We still got the second period in February. Transfer portal, I think, is open till like January something. There's like 1,000 people in there. So, hopefully none of the Michigan players leave. I'm pretty sure we're going to lose a couple. But other than that, man, go blue.